Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is a good morning here. It may be a little gray and we're in for a little warmth, but hopefully everyone made it through the storms last night. And we are grateful and happy to be here this morning. As always, you can find the links to our prayer book pages for the PDF for this service in the comments. Important information will also appear in the comments during the service. Thank you to Dave Zucker, Riley Hendricksey, and Aviva Simons for managing our streaming. Please say hi if you are watching by typing Shabbat Shalom in the comments. And don't forget to hit return. Just a reminder about page numbers. If you have two sets, we're calling the numbers in the brackets. Go ahead and find Shabbat Morning Service, Roman numeral 2, in your Mishkan Tefillah, or on the first page of your prayer packet. If you are following the service in the PDF file, we are using all of the pages. For immediate help, you can text or call CBT's technical support line, 913-303-1134. If you have feedback about this morning's service, we suggest that you take notes and send us an email next week with your comments. And we thank you in advance, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll continue on page 288 with Modeh Ani. Continue on page 291 in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe. With divine wisdom, you made our bodies, combining veins, arteries, and vital organs into a finely balanced network. Wondrous maker and sustainer of life, were one of them to fail, how well we are aware, we would lack the strength to sustain life before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of our health and strength. Baruch atah Adonai, rofeh chol basar, umafli la'asot. We continue having thanked God for our bodies. We thank God now for our souls. Elohai Neshama, page 292.
Elohai Neshama shenatata b'tehorahi. Elohai Neshama shenatata b'tehorahi.
We continue now with our Nisim B'chol Yom, our blessings for everyday miracles. We are on page 293.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan asech vivina lehachvin ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrihim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kifufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten le'ayef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'enai utnuma me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shasani b'tselem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'ivrucha.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
We continue now with our Psuke de Zimra section of our service, our Psalms of Praise, and we will continue with Sadiq Katamar on page 302 at the bottom.
Tzadik katamar yivra, ke'erez balvanot yizke, shetulim lebeit Adonai. Lechatzot Eloheinu yafriku, od yanubu leseva, deshenim verana tibiu lehagid ki yashar Adonai.
We continue with another beloved psalm, Psalm 150, which you can find on page 306. We continue together now in the Shema section of our service on page 317. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully, we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel. And joyfully, we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds, and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Aboher be'amo Yisrael, be'ahava. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל בידיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, וייתן קידושים ללכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם באמת.
We continue now on page 322 with Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom. So we'll continue now as we transition into the Amidah section of our service. And we have many different traditions for the Amidah, whether we are together in person, together virtually, or each of us in our own seats in our own homes. So this morning we will sing together Tzur Yisrael, which is the end of the Mi Chamocha prayer, and then Adonai Sefatai, asking God to open our lips for prayer. And then we will continue the rest of our Amidah silently. You may use the words in your Siddur or what you are carrying in your heart this morning. And we will come together again on page 337.
Zu Israel, Kuma Bezrat Israel, Uvdechinu Mecha, Yehuda ve'Israel, Go'aleinu Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai Gal Yisrael, Adonai Sefatai Tivtachu V'yagid Tehilatecha, Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yi'u Im lefi, ve'yon libi lefanecha. Yi'u le'atzon im lefi, ve'yon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, ve'goali. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, ve'goali. Yi'u le'ratzon im lefi, ve'yon libi lefanecha. Yi'u le'ratzon im lefi, ve'yon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, ve'goali. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, ve'goali.
So we will continue now with our service for the reading of Torah. And as we are each broadcasting from our own homes this morning, we don't have a Torah scroll with us, but we will be reading from and learning about this week's Torah portion. So in the spirit of getting us into the Torah service mood, even though we don't have a Sefer Torah, Torah scroll, On page 367, we will sing together Roman. So just a quick reminder that a link to the Torah reading is in our comments and in the e-news. The link is onto a website called Sefaria, and you'll know if you're in the right spot when it says Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 7, which is where I will be beginning in just a few moments. This week's Torah portion is called Akev, and it literally means on the heels of. And it's Moses telling the Israelites that these are the things that God is telling you to do when you finally enter the land of Canaan, Eretz Yisrael. And you should be mindful to stay on the heels of these different commandments, because they are a way of showing your allegiance to God for the land that God has given you. And the part that I've selected this morning, it's kind of funny, actually. It's a line that appears in Birkat Hamazon, in our grace after meals. And it says, V'alchata, v'savata, uverachta, et Adonai Elohecha. Meaning, and you will eat, and you will be full, you'll be satiated, and you will bless Adonai, your God. And so sometimes we think about when we sit down for a meal, especially a Shabbat meal, we will say our blessings, our kiddush, our motzi, and our candles. And some people say that those represent three different products that the land of Israel gives us. So the kiddush is from the wine, from the grapes that are grown in the land of Israel. Hamotzi, over our challah, is from the wheat that is grown in the land of Israel. And then the candles, if you think about in a world before candles, you had olive oil lamps. And so they're celebrating the things that are grown in the land of Israel that are actually also outlined in this week's Torah portion. And the question always comes that I think about when I was a kid and I went to Girl Scout camp for the first time, I witnessed people saying grace before meals. And I had never really seen that before. And it was kind of a long thing. And some of them were like fun little kitschy songs. But I knew that in the Jewish tradition, we say a short blessing before and a long blessing after. And the joke I always heard was because you want to hurry up and eat, because you don't know if the food is either going to stay warm or if it's going to be there when you're done blessing. And so the Birkat Hamazon, the blessing after the meal, is very, very long, especially if you do it in a pluralistic or traditional setting. And one anecdote that I'd love to share is when I was in college and I was in Hillel, which is a pluralistic setting. We would always do Kiddush and Motzi before we ate our Shabbat meal together, and a full Birkat Hamazon after. And I went to the University of Wisconsin, go Badgers, and we still do have a very popular football team. And at the time, the coach was Brett Bielema, who I believe now is the coach in Arkansas, or at least he went to Arkansas after he left us. And he was supposed to be our guest speaker that night. And so he showed up about in the middle of dinner, which was when we told him to come. And we welcomed him, said, have a seat, enjoy something. And after we do our blessing after the meal, then we'll invite you to speak. And he sits down and we just do our usual thing. Some people have the little beer coney, the little benchers out, that have the blessing in it. And so we finish up, and so whoever it was who was bringing him in got up and introduced, it's our pleasure to introduce this evening the coach of the Wisconsin Badgers football team, Brett Bielema. He comes up, and he's a Southern boy, and he said, I'm Baptist, and I thought our prayers were long. So the idea being, I like his observation because again, it goes with the idea that, you know, we do want to eat, we want to eat while the food is warm, but that should not in any way take away from the gratitude that we express to God for the meal that we just ate. And so we could say it's biblically prescribed that you eat first, make sure that you're satiated, and only then can you give thanks to God for that. So we'll think about that as you go into hopefully some of your delicious Saturday meals, whether you're making them or carrying out, however you decide to enjoy them. So we will do the Torah blessings that you can find on page 369. Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. You have enlightened this path with the wisdom of Torah, giving it to the Jewish people as their particular way. Blessed are you, merciful one, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. Ki Adonai Elohecha, meviacha el eretz tova, eretz nachale mayim, ayanot utehomot, yotzim babik'ah uvahar, eretz chita useorah, begefen utenaha, berimon, Eretz zayit shemen udevash. Eretz asher lo bismekenut tochel bahalechem lo techaser kol baha. Eretz asher avaneha barzel umehera reha tachsov nachoshet. Ve'achalta v'savata uverachta et Adonai Elohecha al haaretz hatova asher natan lach. Holy One of blessing, your presence fills creation. This Torah is a teaching of truth, whole and balanced, and from it comes eternal life for the people who embrace it. Blessed are you, merciful one, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. So we will continue now with our Misha Berach for healing. You may access our Misha Berach list through the e-news that you received yesterday, or you can follow the link in the comments. And if you'd like to offer names at this moment, please type them in the comment box so that we can all see them. You can go ahead. So prayer for those who help. May the one who blessed and led our forebears give countenance unto those who provide help for the ill and troubled among us. May they be filled with fortitude and courage, endowed with sympathy and compassion, as they give strength to those at their side. May they fight against despair and continue to find within themselves the will to reach out to those in need. And in their love of others, may they feel the blessing of community and the blessing of renewed faith. mark the next transition within our service with Eitz Chaim, a tree of life, giving thanks for Torah and the role that Torah plays in our lives. Page 374.
It's Chaim Hilma Betom Hameushar Derachei Anarchinoam V'chol Tivotecha Shalom Ashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadish, Chadish Yameinu Chadish Yameinu Kekedem.
We turn now to our moment of remembrance, and together we will offer a prayer of memory on page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more, and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. You can see our yard site list along with the link that was in this week's e-news. But in our Congregation Beth Torah community, this morning, we are observing the Shloshim period for Radine Shaw, mother and mother-in-law of Roseanne and Randy Deutsch. Irma Schneiderson, stepmother and stepmother-in-law of Mark and Reagan Schneiderson, and step-grandmother of Carly and Beth Schneiderson. Monica Kitt, mother and mother-in-law of Jeffrey and Barbara Kitt, and grandmother of Alexa and Sydney Kitt. Izzy Ozar, husband of Leslie Ozar, father and father-in-law of Stephanie and Adam Eliashar, and grandfather of Jonah and Sarah Eliashar. And on the yard sites, on the anniversary of their passing, we remember Michael Aronson, Donald E. Boyer, Edie Brown, Edward Dubinsky, Murray Fogel, Joni Geifman, Hanley Green, Jerome Grossman, Lynn Grossman, Eugene Kaminowitz, Seymour Kaplan, Lyubov Kapustin, George King, Fanny Lampert, George Allen Mason, Sam Sandberg, Patricia Schlesinger, Jerome F. Spiegel, Dixon Timmerman, Leonard Wacholder, and Irvin E. Wade. May their memories be for a blessing. We continue with Kaddish Yatom together on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei b'kedusha v'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say. Amen. Just a few announcements this morning. We'd like to thank everyone who has joined us both in our Kansas City metro area and from all around the country and the world. Thank you to Leslie Zucker for the beautiful music, and to Dave Zucker, Riley Hendricksey, and Aviva Simons for their help in having our congregation have such a wonderful virtual presence. Just a reminder that while we are now open during business hours, you must have an appointment to be let in the synagogue building. Our entire staff can still be reached by email or by calling our office during regular business hours. Our next Facebook Live Shabbat service will be Friday, August 14th at 6:30 p.m. If you would like to join us for study beforehand, our Sichat Shabbat will take place next Saturday at 9 a.m. on Zoom. Just a little plug for that. We're going to be looking at, actually it's a line from this week's Torah portion about all of the different things that are grown and are produced in the land of Israel, and how one of them actually technically shouldn't be kosher, but it is. So we're going to play with some rabbinic loopholes if that's enticing to you.
Cool.
Yes. So, but in the meantime, you have 2 more days to sign up for Beth Torah's ever first virtual blood drive. Check your e-news for details on how to donate through August 9th. Do it quickly. Our next Thursday conversation will be this coming Thursday, August 13th via Zoom. The topic this week is Simchas through the screen, how we approach life cycle events when we are prevented from coming together in person. I don't know if you could hear anything in the background of my Zoom, but I'll be talking about the life cycle event that resulted in the little guy you might have heard screaming. He's a happy little dude.
Might have heard a little bit of participation.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. He is singing along already. Another opportunity for social justice, Tikkun KC is looking for volunteers to help make a house a home. Tasks include painting the interior of the house, building a retaining wall, and moving construction debris. If you're interested in this and helping with this sacred work, please contact Larry Meyer. And I'll turn it to Leslie for some of her announcements.
I have more.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a super full week. Song session will be back on Wednesday the 12th. We're going to start teaching. We're going to do our regular stuff, and then I'm going to start teaching songs, getting us ready for Elul and the High Holy Days, because they're coming, ready or not. Also, our next virtual ONED will be next Friday, August 14th. Are you curious about what the theme is? Read your e-news on next Friday and you'll find out. The theme and the Zoom link will both be in the e-news. Scroll down a little bit if you haven't found it yet, and usually the Zoom link is right on top of the announcement, right? So you've got your poster saying your theme and all the stuff. The Zoom link is right here. Okay, also, one more thing. Our next Facebook Live Havdalah is next Saturday, August 15th at 8 o'clock Central. And I point out the Central because we're going to have a couple of special guests with us. I'm so excited about this. And they're going to be joining us from Mountain Time.
Oh boy.
Check it out. See who's coming.
Absolutely. So finally, please check us out on Facebook. Like our page, leave us comments about this service and our other virtual events. Shabbat Shalom and stay healthy. We'll conclude with Oseh Shalom, but we're going to do it in the Birkat Hamazon melody, since that was the subject of our Torah reading this morning. So please join us.
Excellent. So we're going to go through it a couple of times. I'm going to go slow the first time, and then we'll pick up the speed, just as a reminder, because I know it's been a while since we all did the Birkat Hamazon together. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol. You know what? I'm going to start that again because I'm on a camera and the camera messes with your brain. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imaru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imaru. One more time. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imaru. Amen.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Take care of each other out there. We'll see you soon.